Thank you for staying with us on Daybreak Extra. Right now, we'll start the show, of course, by taking a look at the front pages of the national dailies. As usual, we'll take a look at the Daily Trust first. Now, the major story here is saying, again, the CBN sacks over 300 staff. It pencils more for disengagement. You find that story on page 8. I mean, it's a really scary stuff at a point where the economy is not favoring Nigerians, and already there is a massive unemployment rate in the country, and there is still more of letting go of staffs, especially in the CBN, which has been really controversial, and yeah, it's really a sad situation. But anyway, we'll just have to wait and see how the end of CBN's drama unfolds, and we hope the staff that were let go at least get to benefit from the gratuity and all of that, and get a better job also. Below the headlines that we see, traders hawk naira notes in Delta. You find that story on page 28. It is really sad, Fatima, that we are buying our own we're buying our own money in our own country. I mean, this happened during the last election, or close to the election period, and then it's still happening, where somebody literally has to pay money
to get more money because of the cashless policy that was introduced.
Yeah. And even with the cashless policy, the network of all the banks, it's really irritating, and people have been complaining back and forth on social media platform. It's really disheartening. Below the headlines there is what is happening in Kano. It says mixed feelings in RIA, Bichi, Gaya, Reno as dethroned emirs leave. Honestly, I feel for these people, considering the fact that they actually felt they were close to the government now. Lawyers divided over High Court order. Emir Sanusi gets appointment letter. Now, we forgot to even talk about that. The fact that the High Court was quick to, say there should be a stop to the reinstatement of Sanusi Lamido, and the governor, of course, did not heed to the judgment of the court and decided to just go on and do it. I mean, it's also some kind of reaction. People are saying the government should, or the court should not even decide to rule against this particular thing. Anything that the state assembly or national assembly has already made a bill of, I mean, why should the court even be making judgment on? And this same situation happened about 5 years ago, and nothing was really done. There was no court injunction or something. So why is it done now? I mean, that is the question people are asking. And another writer is saying judge granted order from US. That's according to Governor Yusuf. Well, the saga is still ongoing. We'll just have to wait and see how everything unfolds. You find that story on page 4. Ongwar Jummai, towns with identical twins in Nigeria and Niger. You find that on pages 5 and 6. The AGF, police, health ministers showcase achievements. You find the story on page 7. I mean, one of the things that we know are the reasons of this showcasing the achievements is because we've opened phone lines on this matter, saying the heads of department and agencies, and also the ministers, what do you think they've been doing? And some of our callers made mention that they cannot even remember who some particular ministers are, because they don't really know exactly what they are doing, and what their work is and how it benefits Nigerians. So these people have to now come out and give Nigerians the details, accountability of exactly what they are doing and how far they have gone. So this is a welcome idea, and if you have more thoughts that you want to get an insight of all of this, you can get that on page 7 of the Daily Trust newspaper. And then they stole my rented card. Kano female water vendor cries out. It's really sad. That you find that on page 3. Now, these are the stories that you'll find on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning.
All right, let's quickly take a look at the Guardian this morning. The major story there says, yam, Nigerians' major staple now a luxury item for average homes. Well, you can find that story on page 24 and 25. Smaya, yam
Yeah.
It's the major story here, and I think it's actually really a luxury right now. Because I remember yesterday, my mom telling me she bought not 2 bars, five bars for 17,000 naira.
5 bags
Or 5 bars, one,
okay.
1, 2, 3,
Yeah,
4, 5
it's a
for
tuber.
17,000.
It is. I mean, it is possible. I think I saw somewhere where someone was saying a tuber of yam. He bought a tuber of yam for about. Is it?
So are you telling me
3,000 or 4,000, something like that?
Yam is now going for close to like 3,500?
And it's really disheartening, Fatima, considering
So
almost every part of Nigeria, farm yam. So this should be like what this is one of our major food in Nigeria. This is something we do ourselves.
Aside from rice, gari, I think the next food that people actually rush to is yam.
Yeah,
because that's this way of making you feel satisfied when you eat. No matter how little and you take water, you feel just okay.
And the fun thing about it, you can make it in different ways. So
exactly.
Yeah, this is literally
really
what
sad,
is supposed to be a poor man's food, something affordable. But then, I mean, the moment maize prices went high, when we all know
that was
a poor man, that is what they camp
fall
on.
back
That's
to, yeah.
Exactly. So the moment that happened, I mean, we started losing hope, and it just keeps getting worse
really
with the food.
Sad.
Insecurity and food production just falling. It's really sad.
Something
really needs to be done. It should be like a state of emergency on this matter.
Yeah, we need that actually. So go through 24 and 25 for details, and then it's crucial to have more women in the room serving as connectors for others. That's the Woman Guardian today. You can find our story on page 5. Yeah.
Women should be.
Should
definitely be. We are in the room now. We are doing justice.
We are doing justice to that. Yeah. So nothing is too much for Atiku Obi to sacrifice if they want to oust APC from power in 2027. Now,
at this point, Nigerians, we don't care. We just want people that will just work for us.
We need peace. We don't want
serve the
fight
people.
And saga. Right now. We have a lot of it.
Right now, people are hungry. Okay, first of all, I just had to
people
say
are hungry for power.
People are hungry for food that they don't have time to, even remember the previous or the current national anthem. That we already have recited,
and then actually, now, you want the old one to come
back. Want
how to recite the old one?
I am a millennial and I do not know, so I even pity the Gen Zs at this point.
Us in school.
No.
So we can't. We need to. But then we can actually go online to find how it sounds. The wording, and then maybe
it's a whole new ball game. Like there is no similarity with what
I remember someone saying actually the old one actually says a lot about tribes and the unity and what have you, much more than the current one.
I mean the current one, honestly, when they say "Arise, O compatriots," it's literally like a military kind of anthem when you listen to it.
But then
but when they said that the old one is all about tribe, in some ways, I'm just looking at it because we all know the power of the tongue.
Well, someone
and the national anthem, when you keep repeating it,
the new one. I was like, it's not the new one; it's the old one.
No, it's not. Honestly, it's not too late. It's just that it just came at the wrong time when Nigerians don't really care about
all that. I remember one caller said when we were talking about the banning of the rituals and smoking things
Nollywood,
yesterday. I actually wish we could have actually had it for phone line this morning, because I just feel a lot of people will be at home and they'll have a lot to say, and then a lot of people kept calling saying that's not our problem. Nigeria needs more security. We need more food. That's our problem. It's not banning of
I remember
things and then a lot of people say
ban corruption.
Yes, a lot of people are actually saying, it has a way of teaching people, certain bad things and then seeing the outcome later.
And of course, the ending is always about lessons.
For every movie that you see any rituals and what have you, the ending has consequences for it. It's either you see the person go mad or the person lose their life or they return to God. In one way or the other, there's an ending. There's a lesson at the end of it. So,
honestly,
we grew up watching.
I wasn't really feeling it because if you're good with watching Korean movies, you know they also do these fairy tales and they go all magical on it, and it's based on their culture, based on the history. They believe in all of these things, and we Nigerians also believe there is black magic and all of that. So we also believe in all of this, and this is what originality is. It's about our stories.
It's not about believing; it's what it is. You know, the prophet has already said there's black magic and it's believable. You can't say it's not.
So when people have been, when we're using it, for me, I feel it's originality anyways. So it shouldn't really be bad.
So yeah. That's why you see, I wish it would have been a discussion for this morning. So let's move on. Tinubu's administration most influential on National Assembly affairs. Other people, you can find that story on page 3. By the way, you can find the story of the Tinubu article on page 5 of the Guardian this morning. And then Kano Emir shifts too. Nasanusi returns to palace amid court injunction. So you can find details on page 2. Nigeria's energy transition requires $10 billion yearly to achieve 2060 target. Shatima. You can find that story on page 3. Court sees a $4.7 million, 830 million multi-billion naira asset linked to MFLA. You can find that story on page 3. Presidency allies fear of inflation sterling schools feeding program. You can find details on page 28, and that's it for the Guardian this morning.
All right, let's take a look at the Punch newspaper this morning. The major story here is saying that federal government assessment portal, Nigerians rate power, defense, agric, education ministers poorly. All right. I mean, we spoke about this, saying that the federal government has an app where you can go, like a portal to go and check on how far are the policies and the work of, the ministers. And Nigerians are saying that, these particular people have been poor and inactive. We're talking about the power sector, the defense, agric, education ministers. Ministers rated on economic reforms, national security, food security, unlocking energy, and others. FEC members may be judged on funds usage, delivery, on hope agenda. I mean, this is something that at least gives Nigerians a way to feel we are part of this decision. We can get a direct link to these people to tell them, we are not okay with what you're doing. And of course, it's all about creating that link, because there is no way the government should feel, or the people should feel detached from the government. So this is a great initiative, and it will definitely keep the government on their toes on knowing exactly what Nigerians are feeling according to their own jobs and performance. Below the headmast there, it says Labour eyes 100,000 minimum wage as NEC meets on Monday. I mean, that was what we were expecting, and that was why there was a negotiation table when people were saying the labor unions demand was out of reach. I said what I thought was, it is a negotiation table, so any money can be announced, but then there should be at least a negotiation. Say, okay, let's move here, then there'll be a compromise. So people were at least hoping for 100 or 150,000 naira minimum wage due to the 4 times or 5 times increase of cost of living, but then what the federal government gave was not okay with Nigerian workers, and they have to go back to the table. So we'll just have to wait and see how that pans out, and hopefully that is achievable. Keeping Nnamdi Kanu in prison is wrong. That's according to Wale Soyinka, the legendary. I mean, he's speaking on that matter. Beside the headmaster, it's sad my wife died 3 days after having triplets. Grieving widow has said that's really sad. I mean, children are always blessed.
We had the father burying triplets, and then God gave them twins.
Yeah. And it's really a sad situation there. Honestly, I feel for this widow where there was always hope and praying for the blessings, and then they come, but then the person that you're supposed to share that joy with is not there. It's
normal. Yeah,
it's so sad. Below the headmaster, or below the major story rather, why I still play organ in church. That's according to Oshun Monarch. If you enjoy music, I mean, I guess you cannot forget it. So the monarch is playing piano in church, and that's a good thing. 1 year on, Nigerians eagerly awaited dividends of Tinubu's renewed hope agenda. All right. Over 3,000 students from 126 institutions register for the student loan. I think there is an expectation of about 1 million, right?
Yeah.
So far, 3,000 students from 126 institutions. I really wish we could, hear from them to hear how the process was, because while this whole bill was in process, people had fear of, it's too complex, the process. So I
just hope they made it easy, with the president looking into some of the clauses in the process of
some adjustments,
applying for the loan and all that. So
okay, we'll keep you updated on the situation there. Nakon airlifts 16,794 pilgrims and Christians to pay 4.9 million naira. I mean, we just want to worship God. Can you people just find a way to make it, affordable for an average Nigerian? It's just about.
I remember the ASU president saying, the government actually supported, subsidized Hajj, and the Christians also going for their pilgrimage, and why can't they give 50 million for the ASU whole teachers and lecturers fee and what have you that they've been demanding for, the reasons for their strikes and what have you.
But honestly, I agree with ASU. I agree with us. Because we just have to put priority first. And I mean, this, even religiously, pilgrimage is not a compulsory, like you have to go. If you don't go, then of course your religion is failing. No, it's something that it's when God wants you to go. So we have serious issue in the country that should be looked into. If at all there should be subsidy and other things, then they should go back to power. People have been complaining of how electricity is expensive, and these are the basic amenities. We cannot, no matter how much we really want to and we think we deserve it, we cannot put subsidy on everything. Subsidy should be put on basic amenities, and that is what the media is exactly pushing for. So honestly, the pilgrimage thing is for me, if they should put subsidy on something, then put it on power, water, pay off lecturers and teachers really well, so that our children can have better education system. I mean, based on the assessments of the ministers, they're saying Minister of Education they're not feeling the impact of it. So put in more money into that sector, health sector. It would be better than giving
very, very important
subsidy for pilgrimage, honestly.
So okay.
No, right. Okay. So I mean, basically, is that all we have for the nation?
Oh no. We go into the Nation Saturday this morning. So the major story there says electricity tariff crash with time, says Minister. Federal government targets 60,000 megawatts generation by year end. Adelabo, power sector reforms have attracted investments. You can find details on page 4. And then Sanusi, no man can take what God has given. Why I reinstated monarch by Kano government vows to report judge over restraining order. And then Concourse Road, I didn't give order for reinstatement. So you can find all that story on page 4. Court orders for future of 4.7 million. 830 million property linked to MFLA. You can find details on page 2. Terrorism, only court can decide Nnamdi Kanu's fate. You can find the details on page 3. So Sumi, this Nnamdi Kanu's issue is back and forth, and I think, what do you think about the courts actually deciding on his fate?
I mean, honestly, it is. I don't know if I want to call it a sedation, because I haven't really gone deep into what exactly is happening. But then,
the little that you have seen online,
if a person proved to be like a bit of threat to the government, you know, causing a bit of
Not just the
chaos.
government, the country.
The country, yes. It's all about the peace of the nation. So if there is any bit of chaos, and that's why we have, you know, judges on matters. So if the judges are saying, okay, this is the right path to take, then of course we have to trust them.
We just hope that we just get to the bottom of everything with the Nnamdi Kanu's issue, and then So
of course,
you can find details on page 3.
And the people should not feel threatened on any level.
Yeah, you can find details on page 3. CBN sacks 200 staff. Restructuring move. You can find story on page 7. Tinubu to Nigerians. Tax governors to take responsibilities seriously, says effective local government administration critical to debt. And then he said, nation no longer bleeding printing paper money. You can find details on page 5. Economy grew by 3% in the first quarter of 2024. MBS. You can find details on page 6. And that's it for the nation this morning.
All right, let's quickly take a look at Tribune. I just like the major story here. It's saying ex parte injunction from America. Why NJC won't sanction Kano judge? Governor Yusuf presents appointment letter to Sunusi. I mean, this main thing is still a reflection of what is happening in Kano State. And, you know, the judge that says there should be a stop to the reinstatement. And now the NJC are saying we cannot sanction the judge because people are saying that there should be a sanction on why he will try to, that the judge will try to interrupt, you know, something that the State Assembly has put a motion on. So there's just been back and forth in Kano. And then now we have, you know, the reinstated Emir already, who is known, of course, for being really vocal, saying that no man can change what God has destined, you know. So Sunusi seems to be back again. I mean, it's been a while. So we'll just have to wait and see how all of that unfolds in Kano. At the end of the day, you know, what we wish for is for peace and, you know, benefit of Kano. And while people were asking if there was a bit of, you know, tension in Kano, I think it's almost the same thing that happened, you know, in 2020. Because why Sunusi have his own loyalists, also Aminu Ado Bayero have his own loyalists. So everybody will be hurt.
With Kwankwaso saying he didn't give order as well, so that, you know, with the whole issue with him and, you know, Ganduje and what have you. Yeah, so him saying that he didn't, I think it shows that Abba made the decision by himself, so whatever. But then, as the godfather,
it's expected that there's a bit of.
He has
honestly do not know.
Say something.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't know. It's just a very you know, sensitive situation in Kano State. We'll bring you any you know, subsequent updates from Kano.